It's the Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David, how are you tonight?
Good, good. You know, I think we've been doing these podcasts 5 years now.
It seems about right. We used to have to go down to the Journal and do them in that audio-visual room there. So, of course, we couldn't do them after the games until we figured out how to set it up in a little more relaxed environment than that.
You're right.
But we've been doing games for probably 4 years now, eh?
Yeah. Well, tonight's game certainly wiped the sour taste out of everybody's mouth in oil country. It was a 4-0 win of the Oilers over the Nashville Predators. And it was as dominating a win as the loss to the Minnesota Wild was underwhelming and sad. The Oilers were that dominating over Nashville, I'd have to say. It's fascinating. The Oilers seem to have had some pretty good games against Nashville in recent years. No good games against the Wild.
Yeah.
But they seem to play well against Nashville. I don't know why that is. Why? Because, you know, a lot of people think they're kind of similar teams.
I don't.
I don't. The Wild I think, personally, I think are a much better team, but that could be shaped by the Oilers' record against them. We've been doing podcasts, Bruce, since 2016.
Wow.
That's our first one. What did you think of the game, just generally?
I thought the Oilers were just great right out of the gate, and they came out right on task and took care of business from the get-go, took care of the puck, took care of their man. I really liked Chris Russell's booming check on Marcus Michael Granlund. Yeah, Michael, of course. Basically his first shift in 3 weeks, and he stepped up just as Granlund got the puck, and he just dipped his shoulder right into Granlund's breastbone, and two little guys, but holy moly, that was a big hit. And I thought it really set the stage and sent a message to the other Oilers defensemen. You know, after last game, where they never knocked down a soul in the whole game, I don't think. And Russell said, "Hey, boys, do it like this." Boom. And I think it just sort of set a take charge example real early. And I'm going to tip my hat to Chris Russell for that. But I won't call it my good thing, because there's way too many good things to use it on one play like that, no matter how delightful.
I think Bruce, I have a feeling when the playoffs come around, Chris Russell's going to be in the Oilers lineup. I just think he adds an element, even though he's not big, so he can't be big. He's little Bobby Clubber. Like he does play a tough game. He can't be big Bobby Clubber, but he plays that physical defensive game. And he still plays it pretty darn well. And I'm betting he'll be in the playoffs. And that may mean an 11 and 7 lineup like they went with tonight, which seems to work for the Oilers just fine. Like, I don't have a problem with that. So and then if a defenseman gets hurt, you can do that. If a defenseman's not playing very well, you can go with that. So this is our 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers podcast. Bruce, I'm going to start it off because mine kind of segues into yours a little bit. So,
sure.
This game was never that close. Wasn't close in the end. The Oilers outchanced them 11-9 on grade A shots. But on the all-important category of 5 alarm shots, the very best scoring chances that have the 33% plus chance of going in, the Oilers were 6-2. I think the Oilers only had 2, if I'm not mistaken, against the Wild. And now, which is just a really low amount. You know, teams usually get 6, 7, 8. And the Oilers had 6 tonight. And then they thwarted the Predators and got them down to 2 this game. They didn't have any in the first 2 periods, the Predators. And but about halfway through the second, the Preds were getting some momentum, and they were starting to get some chances, opportunities. I don't think they were getting shots necessarily. They did get one good shot, but they were getting opportunities, moments around the net that looked dangerous. So I'm starting to think, the Oilers are going to give up a goal here. And all of a sudden, in a 3-minute span, we had 2 what I would call tabletop hockey goals. you remember when you were playing tabletop hockey as a kid? You could only control the two players, though, when you're trying to score,
Yeah,
the winger and the center.
yeah.
So what you invariably would you the puck would you would have the puck on the winger's stick, and you would
Slam.
slam them both together at the same time towards the goal, and the winger would put the puck to the center, and the center would slam it in the net.
Uh-huh.
The player in the middle of the ice, and we had two goals in fairly quick succession for the Oilers that were just that. On the first one, so they both featured really great rushes down the wing,
Uh-huh.
passes into the middle, and great finishes. So on the first one,
Yeah.
it was Zach Hyman who charged in there, and it was a really quite a fine rush down the wing, and a really great low high pass. That's what I call these passes. Going from the below the goal line to the upper slot, and those are very difficult shots for the goalie to stop, even if they end up being from a little further out, because he's back in his net. He has to be back in his net, respecting the possibility of a wraparound. So you make that pass, and it's a invariably leads to a grade A shot. And did Leon Draisaitl ever make a fantastic shot
I'll
on
say.
that play? It was unbelievable. Kind of I think it was between the defenseman's legs and over the goalie's pad, and off his stick immediately, with
Mhm.
a total eclipse of the sun, screened by Zach Cassian in front of the net. So there was three really good plays on that one. 3 minutes later,
Four,
it's
if you count the punt rebound by Smith
Mike
that
Smith, right?
started the rushing that earned him an assist.
Indeed. Um, the next one,
Was it
Leon
that one?
Draisaitl.
Oh, they took it away.
The next one wins. It's Draisaitl who wins a battle, and Kane. He just starts flying down the wing. He really picks up speed and gets going fast, and he puts the puck in the middle of the ice for Darnell Nurse. And Nurse made he just slammed that home, and that was a true tabletop hockey moment. And it's interesting, he scored 16 goals last year in fewer games, 56 games, and
Hmm.
everyone was saying that was unsustainable, and it was a high number, right? He had a high shooting percentage for a
Yep.
defenseman, but he's up to 9 right
Yep.
now this year,
Yeah, I'll get 10.
and he'll get double digits goals
Oh,
again
yeah.
this year, and yeah, he's doing okay. He's doing okay, and that was a fantastic goal. Darnell Nurse has that ability to be a dynamic offensive
I'll say.
attacker. He's a different kind of attacking defenseman than most defensemen, because
Hmm.
he attacks kind of like a forward in a way. He goes fast at the net and makes plays and has a hard shot. And most more defensemen are more like Tyson Barrie or Bouchard, kind of slick with the puck with a good
Hmm.
outside shot. Nurse makes these kind of offensive forays. This was one of them. He's made a number through this year. They've often
Hmm.
ended up in key goals for the Oilers, and it happened again tonight.
Officially a short-handed goal, eh? Because Buddy came out of the box just as Edmonton was establishing possession, so it was a
Uh,
4-on-4. But the goal is credited as a shorty, and the penalty had in fact ended 5 seconds before it went in. So Buddy probably never got back into play. Of course, second period it's the far penalty box to the defensive
yeah.
goal too. So but that's technically how it was scored. But it was a good play, and it was Leon that made the big defensive stop uh, way down in below the circle in Edmonton's zone. I can't remember who was the Nashville defender. Maybe it was 14 Ekholm, who had rotated up, and Leon spotted him and rotated to him, stopped him once, and then when Buddy got the puck behind, he tried to make a centering pass. Leon blocked that pass and went to CC, and now the puck's going the other way and in with purpose and speed, and so that was a team goal as well.
Bruce, what is your good thing tonight?
Yeah, well, I'm going to single out Leon Draisaitl for two of the things that you mentioned, and the thing I just mentioned, which was goal scoring and fantastic defensive play. I thought he was outstanding in this game on the defensive side of the puck. Officially credited with 3 takeaways, and that I mean, it's just stood out how many puck battles that he won, and how much attention he paid to detail, and when Nashville had the puck, and he was a man driven for no 2 game losing streaks on my watch was how he played that game, and 3 unstoppable goals. Holy moly, what fantastic drives they were. The first one, David, I got to stop action of the puck when it's going just inside the post at about 200 miles an hour. And UC Saros's closest body part to the puck is easily 2 feet away from him. He had no chance to stop, none whatsoever to stop that. And he could have been 6'11" and he still wouldn't have come close to it. So it was just
Great
a
pass from
wicked,
Nuge.
yeah, well, three-way triangular passing play. Sort of low, not quite low high, but low medium from Connor to Nuge in the slot. And then Nuge sort of went medium back low to the other side. And Draisaitl scythed it into the net like a
Yeah.
rocket. So that was the first goal, and then ultimately the game-winning goal. The second goal that you described, there was one great camera angle. I don't think we would have appreciated how good this shot was, except they had a camera angle that was so good that showed all the traffic. You
Yes.
couldn't see Saros at all because he couldn't see the puck. And Leon found this little channel that was unobstructed between him and the net, and he put the puck right in there over the pad and just inside the post, and quick shot again. And then the hat trick goal, of course, another savage wrist shot from the slot on a give and go with uh, McDavid. Now, that puck hit the net, David. The net might as well have been a trampoline. The puck just came flying back out of the net just as hard as it went in, and it was just such a rocket of a finish shot. And for Leon and I mean his ownage of the Predators is incredible. In the Oilers last game the Oilers played against them, he got shut out for goals. And it was the first time after he'd had 6 consecutive games against them of 2-2-2-2-4-2. He got shut out one game, and now he got 3. His last 2 games in Nashville, he got 7 goals. He just
Wow.
completely owns that team. I mean, it was Nashville that you and I saw together earlier this season, right? He got 2 goals in that game. So 7 2-goal games and a total of 17 goals in his last 8 games against them. You know, over an 80-game season, that's a 170 goal pace. I think that's pretty good. I mean, obviously unsustainable, but he's sustained it for like 3 years now. And Nashville must be sick of the sight of him. But I also I really enjoyed his defensive play and how many straight out stops, steals of the puck he had, how many good reads he had where he just picked passes off. I thought he put on a clinic.
He's finally probably feeling healthy. Like he had had a
He
few
looked
games where
healthy
he did
tonight.
not look like Leon Draisaitl. You could see how disappointed he was too when he got hurt there. I think he was
I
because
was really
I
worried by that, just by
think
that look.
and I think it's partly I think part of it is he wants to lead the league in goal scoring. And I'm just reading minds here. But Leon was these athletes are driven to success. And like Mark Spector asked Connor McDavid who he'd vote for in the Hart Trophy voting.
I saw that.
Connor McDavid has no doubt about who the best player in the NHL is. It's him. And
Hmm.
modesty prevents him from saying it. But he has no
Hmm.
doubt about it. And they none of them have any doubt. So I think Leon really would love to lead the league in scoring, and that held him back a little bit. But he is now at 54, and Austin Matthews is at 58. So he's only 4 back, and there's still time to make up that gap. We'll see. He could make it close. I'd love to see that happen. I'd love to see Leon tie Matthews or get ahead of him. But it is a long shot, but it's not. Stranger things have happened in hockey.
The last Oiler to hit 54 in a season was Craig Simpson, and that's an asterisk job because he got 13 in Pittsburgh and 41 in Edmonton to get to 54 goals that year. Wait a minute, he got 43 in Edmonton, got to 56 goals. That was so. Leon hasn't quite got to there yet, but he was the last guy to be that number. Last guy to score 54 as an Oiler, I believe, was Glenn Anderson. And
Oh, geez, we're going way
you know,
back.
yeah. Like it's a major feat. It's not just 50. Like he's blown through the ribbon of 50 goals and keeping right on going, and with an exclamation point tonight. So
Okay. I got a quiz question for you, Bruce. This is
yeah,
which all-time stat in the NHL for regular NHLers does Craig Simpson possess?
Oh, best shooting percentage, regular season and playoffs.
Correct.
And in regular season, he's the all-time best. In the playoffs, he's the all-time best by 10%. 10%. He's 31 point something, and the all-time list, at least last time I checked, unless there's some recent hot shot, and it's pretty hard to shoot over 20% in the playoffs these days. And he took such high percentage shots, and he took such punishment to get into such good shooting positions, and he was so good at cleaning up garbage around the net that he was a deadly, deadly shooter.
23% in the 23.7% in the regular season was his shooting percentage. I'm just trying to find the playoffs here to see playoffs. 34% shooter.
1 out of 3. 1 out of 3.
Wow. Boy, he had, and then there was that one great, of course, in the 1989-90 playoffs, he was with Messier and Anderson in that on that line. That was the Oilers' top line, and he scored 16 goals in 22 games.
Scored the cup winner on a behind-the-back pass from Anderson, where he went in and deked Andy Moog, and one of the Sweeneys fired Simpson right into the net as he made the deposit. So the puck and Simpson himself went into the net in very short order. Very spectacular cup-winning goals. One on the short list of most spectacular.
He was an outstanding hockey player.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Skater too, it turned out.
An eventful time in his life. Bruce, let's move on to our bad things. I guess I'll start it off since I started off with the good thing.
Sure.
My bad thing, there was literally almost no bad things from the Oilers in that game. They just played a really solid game, a great bounce back game. So I got to go all the way to Calgary, and my bad thing was the Calgary Flames tonight.
Give it to them.
Buddies, come on. They lose 5-1 to the Golden Knights. There's 4 minutes left in the third period as I'm saying this. And what is up with that? Come on. Like, beat that team. Beat the Golden Knights. Would have put a stake through their hearts. Yeah, that's right. Anyway.
And lose at home to LA Kings and lose at home to Vegas. Losers.
Jerks.
Anyway, you're right. There's not much bad from this game. My bad thing is the sort of first two and a half minutes of the third period, when the Oilers came up with a 3-0 lead and just needed to sort of keep doing what they were doing. And Vegas came up with a little push, or not Vegas, so Nashville came up with a little push. And a couple good plays, very nice play by Duchesne, who just flat out beat Darnell Nurse one-on-one and came in, and Mike Smith put that away, and it was like 20 seconds into the third period. And then there was one guy whiffed a great shot from close range. Another guy missed the net from close range. And then they actually scored a goal that looked like it was going to get him back in the game at 3-1 when Smith couldn't contain a hard shot, and the rebound was right in the blue paint, and Colton Sissons jammed it in. But Oilers' hero and possible team MVP, Jeremy Kupal, from the press box, called down to the bench that it was another offside challenge that was going to be won by Edmonton, and lo and behold, Monsieur Kupal was correct yet again. I don't know how many he's got right this year. It's got to be at least 5. I know 2 in one game.
Yeah, he's done well. He's done very well.
Yeah, and he's never got one wrong, because I said to my wife then, if he's wrong on this, or if they find it even inconclusive, then it's a goal and a penalty right away, power play right after. You got to be sure. Anyway, he was sure, and so was Colton Sissons. The camera was on him, and he was just sort of shaking his head and looking, it was offside.
That was way offside. That wasn't close. A lot of them are pretty close. That was not one. That one was not that close.
And once that happened, it was like Edmonton got a second life. They won the face-off. They went down the far end, tooled around down there for a while, and all of a sudden it was back. Puck was back on their sticks, and the game was back in their control. And Nashville's little burst was over. But during that little burst, I thought there was just that little time where Edmonton didn't quite match Nashville in the one-on-ones and the puck battles and puck management for just a couple of nervous minutes, and that's really all the nervous minutes there were in this game. It was a very major control job by the Oilers.
Yeah, a bad thing if Smith let in that goal because it was not a good shot
Mm-hmm.
to be letting in. So that was a little bit frustrating, honestly. But fortunately, it was called back. And what would you give Smith in that game, Bruce, if you were grading the game?
Oh, he got a shutout. So a minimum, I would grade him an 8. It's a great game to get a shutout, and he had 30 shots. He made a number of very tricky saves. They had I don't think very many 5 alarm shots, but they had quite a few grade A's, and he stopped them all. Or I mean, it wasn't like he was lucky. He was lucky the one got called back. And otherwise, I thought he was pretty commanding. His puck movement again was good. They gave him an assist. 1 point took it away.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'd say an 8. I'm not sure he was, oh, he got
wouldn't give
enough
more than
work to
that.
be
No.
outstanding, let alone transcendent, which is a 10. But I thought he was, I call that a great game. Shutout on the road against the playoff team. Yep,
Yeah.
he's been good. He looks good right now. And, we've all had our turn criticizing him, and we all knew that he one day would want to come and stick it down everybody's throat. And right now, he's doing it. 4 goals against in 4 games, 4 wins, all on the road,
Well, good for him, right? Good for him.
and a
That's what
great and a great game-winning pass in
that's what
there
we're
too.
hoping. That's what we're hoping to see from him,
Well,
and we're seeing it. Numbers. My number, Bruce, is 5,
hmm
and that's the number of Oilers defensemen who kept what I call a clean sheet.
wow, 5 and
No
7.
mistakes against on a grade A shot at even strength. So that's Bouchard and Keith, Barry and Kulak, and Chris Russell. Darnell Nurse had a few.
hmm
He was caught out on the Duchesne play. Boy, Duchesne has really revived his career, but and it's tough for Darnell Nurse. He's always against the best competition. He's always against the
Yep.
Matt Duchesnes. So
Yep.
he's more prone to get beat, partly because of that. But the other defensemen, after having just a terrible game against the Wild, that was mainly the defensemen who were breaking
hmm
down in that game. And tonight they were just all really super solid. So good for those guys. Good for the defensemen. Uh, May they have many more clean sheets as this season goes along and the playoffs come about. What is your number?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, 30 hits the Oilers had tonight. I think they had 9 in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And like I say, I personally, and they mentioned it late in the broadcast as well, I really thought that Russell hit was a significant one. It wasn't just a hit. I thought it really sent a message and sort of set the stage. Anyway, my number is 23. We kind of missed this one last game in the disappointment of a 5-1 loss at Minnesota, and we had some bad, ugly numbers to look at and stuff. But we missed the record, Edmonton Oilers record power play goal scored to break the shutout in that game by Leon Draisaitl, number 21. And I thought, yeah, we should mention that at some point. And then tonight, of course, he comes up with 22, 23, and now he's sort of, again, sort of broken through the ribbon and into a new realm, setting a Edmonton Oilers record that has stood for 38 years, held by two all-time Edmonton Oilers icons, Wayne Gretzky, who set the original record in 83, 84, and Ryan Smith, who tied it. And it stood on the books as the two of them now for 20 years. And now Leon Draisaitl has sort of consistently been a 15, 16 power play goal a year man, has upped that ante even more, and he's broken a Wayne Gretzky franchise record, and that does not happen every year, let alone every day. That's no mean feat to have done that. In the year Wayne set that record, most power play goals, he also set the franchise record for most shorthanded goals in the season. Same year, he led the league in both, and he had 12 shorthanded goals. Nobody's going to be breaking that one anytime soon. But the power play goal record is finally gone after all this time. So another hat tip to you, Leon Draisaitl, for setting a new franchise record held by two all-time great Oilers. I think it's fair to call Ryan Smith that in the fullness of time. Certainly an iconic Oiler, and
Yes.
Leon himself is becoming an iconic
Oh,
Oiler.
definitely.
So,
Um, yeah, he is. I mean, he's having just a fantastic season. I was just marveling at, thinking about what all these goals that we've seen, him unleashing that electrifying executioner shot, which he did again tonight on his first goal. And what a player. I was just thinking about Gretzky too.
mhm.
The shorthanded goals got me thinking there has been no one better at on the
No,
back check, tracking back on someone, lifting their stick, stealing the puck, getting it, and attacking the net. The Wayne Gretzky.
no.
He was so hungry. He was so hungry for that play and those goals. And man, did he ever get a lot of them. He just was on those guys and pickpocketing them and going in. So
Well,
what a hockey player.
that year he had 12 shorthanded goals and 11 assists, 23 points with the Oilers shorthanded. The Oilers scored 36 shorties in 83-84, still the all-time record. And second, third, and fourth teams all time are also Edmonton Oilers teams of the 1980s. Like they were a killer counter-attacking team, and Glenn Sather and the team rightly saw the other team's power play as the time they were most vulnerable to a counterattack because they're trying to score, of course, on the power play, and they're putting out
Yeah.
offensive players, and Wayne and Yari or Mark or Paul, all those guys would just, you get half a chance, and now it's a 2-on-2 or even a 2-on-1 going the other way with all kinds of speed and skill going down the ice with the puck. Well, they're going to put some of those away, and they did.
Alrighty, Bruce. Well, the next game is Vegas, 2 o'clock
Sure is.
Saturday. I'm going to the game, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna hopefully enjoy that. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
fingers crossed. Big game, obviously. It could really put a crimp on the Golden Knights season to lose that one, but we'll see.
Well, it would mean they're chasing the Kings and not the Oilers at minimum.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the Oilers can put some distance between themselves and Vegas by winning that game. That's it's going to be a huge. It's a real 4-point game at this point. Oilers are in an advantageous position, and they would still be in one even if they were to lose that game. But they could really put their put themselves in the catbird seat by winning it.
Alrighty, Bruce. Well, thanks for talking tonight.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.